I keep saying to myself that I believe that my followers and subscribers have a wicked sense of humor whenever I mention about how y'all love sending me stories out of Florida, and you continue to do so. I get so many stories sent to me from Florida. I sometimes wish I would have created a playlist just called Florida that just had all the commentaries that I've done on Florida, but that'll be hard for me to find because it's not like every title of the videos that I've done has Florida in the title. So I'm not even going to bother trying to do that. So you'll just have to find them. You know how sometimes you come across a story and it sounds like it's not real, but then when you read into it, it's very real? This story is one of them, and yes, it's coming out of Florida. So this guy's name is Jerome Ellis, and he is 48 years of age, and he was accused of putting bleach into his colleague's drink because the colleague he's working with was difficult to work with. One would think that, you know what, maybe I'll just go to HR and see what can happen with that. Because like, nope, this person is so annoying. I'm going to try to poison them. And actually did. But I'm going to let the rest of the article tell that. And it's coming from the New York Post, and it was made October 26, 2022. A Florida man has been accused of pouring bleach and spitting into a coworker's soda can after an argument. Jerome Ellis, age 48, was arrested Monday on charges of poisoning food or water with intent to kill or injure and tampering with or fabricating evidence, both felonies. According to a charging affidavit obtained by the Post, Volusia County Sheriff's deputies were sent to a Dollar General store in DeLand, or DeLand, someone in Florida can correct me if I'm wrong, on Monday night for a report of a possible poisoning. An employee told the deputies that he and Ellis got into a row at work the day before, and he believed Ellis had a grudge against him. The person making the complaint said he left an open can of Pepsi from lunch on a counter when he went to the restroom. Rule number 1, never leave a drink unattended. That doesn't just apply for bars in the club, that can apply in the workplace too, and especially considering what happened here. When he returned and took a sip from the can, he noticed the beverage tasted and smelled like bleach. The worker told cops he panicked and called 911, then informed his manager of what happened and placed the sabotaged soda can in the back room for safekeeping. When the worker reviewed a surveillance video from the store, he said the footage showed Ellis pouring bleach into his drink. During an interview with deputies, Ellis denied arguing with his coworker and claimed to have spilled some cleaning solution on the counter. Yeah, I wouldn't even believe that, even if they didn't have any footage there. Like, how in the world does cleaning solution just spill and it just falls into the can? The counter, yeah, but spilling over, how did it get into the can? Because the can sits up relatively higher to a very flat surface. But anyway, when deputies reviewed the surveillance video, they said it showed Ellis pouring bleach in the vicinity of his coworker's Pepsi can, then wiping it with a paper towel. Jerome went back a few minutes later and leans over the can, appearing to spit into it, according to the affidavit. Jerome once again proceeded to grab the can and wipe it down one more time. The footage also allegedly caught Ellis trying to unplug the dollar store's camera system. Wow. I'm not laughing at the situation. I'm laughing at the part when they said he tried to unplug the camera because he knew he was being watched. Like, sir, by this time you've already been caught. You've been caught putting the bleach into the can. You got caught spitting into it. You got caught wiping it off to try to remove evidence that anything was going in there. And then you got caught trying to remove the camera. And the thing is, you did the previous things before you did the thing of trying to remove the camera. So they've already caught you. And you lied. So they got you again. After deputies told Ellis about the video and urged him to be honest with them, the 48-year-old allegedly admitted to putting some of the bleach around the rim of the can to get back at his colleague for being difficult to work with. Ellis complained that his co-worker has been brushing up against him in the store aisle. The victim, who ingested some of the tainted Pepsi, refused medical attention, deputies said. Ellis, who has no prior criminal history, was booked into the county jail Tuesday in order held without bond. He is due back in court for his arraignment November 17th. Now, I'm glad that they put something in here to say or give his motive as to why he did it. He said that he accused his coworker of brushing up against him And that makes me wonder, is his coworker like in the academy and he was trying and he was testing him and this was his way of getting back at him? Did he ever go to the bosses and try to tell him about this coworker and the bosses did nothing? And, a lot of times that does happen. And then he said, you know what? F it. I'm going to take matters into my own hands. Granted, it gets to that point sometime, but dude, you literally tried to poison your coworker. Like they could have died. But he was like, hey, it is what it is. He probably felt in that moment he had nothing left to lose at this point, which is why he went all out with what he did. Because when they said that this guy poured bleach and spit into this can, I said, this is a very intense situation that we're dealing with here when it comes to his coworker. This isn't just a thing of the coworker maybe saying something. Well, it could be sometimes depending on what they say. This is no small petty thing that could be dealt with in a more adult-like manner, such as them having a conversation and hopefully squashing whatever they're dealing with. This is something much more on an escalated level to them, or to him, I should say. But at the same time, on the flip side, now you have these felonies on you and you could face some serious jail time. Like if your coworker had died, that's homicide right there. And even with them not, taking the eternal dirt nap, you still poison their drink and then lied about it and got caught trying to remove the evidence of what you did. So it still doesn't look good for him either way. They're going to look past whatever his coworker allegedly did to him to make him want to do this. And they're only going to focus on what he did. So externally, he's going to be the villain of this story. I feel like this could have been dealt with a whole nother way. But, in moments like this, intense and heated moments, you never know what a person is going to do, how they're going to snap or whatever they're going to do to try to get back at a person that they feel has done them wrong. But that's crazy right there. But I want to know from y'all down in the comments, have you ever dealt, and I'm sure many of you have stories, but I don't think it's going to be nothing this major. You can tell a story about a coworker that you had problems and issues with and how that situation was resolved, if it was even resolved at all. I remember one time when I was working at my old job, I literally popped off on one of my coworkers, like in a way that I never got to that point, because I never like to raise my voice unless I necessarily have to. And the crazy part about it is I had to be very careful because I was on what would be deemed as federal property. So I had to be very careful about that. And luckily, there wasn't any security back there to hear me like literally go off to that point, because then who knows what could have happened from there, just from me raising my voice the way that I did in such a very intense manner.